What's going on, my PT peeps and my From fans? I'm One Eye Bry, also known as PT. Don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about Season 2, Episode 2 of the series From. So spoiler warning for all things From, Season 1, Season 2, all that good stuff. So what's up with Elgin? We got to talk about this guy, right? But we're going to do a review, recap, breakdown of the episodes, some things we caught, some things we want to discuss, and everything else in between. Let me know your thoughts, post your comments below. But Elgin is definitely a character, a new character that is very interesting. Now we have to talk about the crow on his shirt, because if you notice in the opening of the show, there's crows all over the place. And there's probably no coincidence that he has a crow on his shirt, but it's multiple times during the opening that we see a bunch of crows, which I believe is called a murder, a group of crows. But we see one, we see a group, we see a bunch, and it's interesting because there's a bunch of different symbolism with it, and I doubt they just have him wear a t-shirt randomly. I'm a person that thinks that shows do things for a reason, symbolism, Easter eggs, callbacks, connections, foreshadowing, all that good stuff. But watch the opening, you'll see it a bunch of different times. Also, there's the thing with the dog that I definitely want to talk about. But Elgin is a character that is connected with this area, this town. When he had a seizure, the house fell down. Or the house fell down and he had a seizure. But he is running from the creatures and comes across the delivery truck that Tabitha and Victor are at. And again, I can't help but wonder, why are these people dressed in like a cowboy outfit, a western outfit, a milkman? It's just weird. But we see Elgin sleeping on the bed, and we see an arrow pointed to him. Like when he's laying down, there's just no way that's not symbolic, in my opinion. But as we see in the delivery truck, we see, I guess, a map of the area with the woods that Victor made over time, and we see the arrow pointing directly at Elgin, like, check this out, but it's just not answered just yet. But the episode starts with Boyd and Martin, and we still don't know who dropped the rope down from the little wheel thing there, but we see that other people were tied up or chained up, and there's two other bodies there. So we don't know who did this to Martin, as he doesn't say, but he says they, and that the creatures are just the tip of the spear. As Boyd tries to figure out what's going on and where he's at, if he's safe, we find out some information. But I would have been asking Martin so many questions. And he does. We get some answers, which is always good. But he clearly says, before they come back. Who is they? We know that he was a Marine, and so was Boyd, and so was his wife Abby, that Martin references, which is kind of weird. And we don't know if Boyd is hallucinating or what. Like, it's just weird. What is true? What is real? What is in Boyd's mind? Is this all real? Is it all a dream? But it just makes me wonder more and more every episode, which is good. But again, Boyd is trying to get Martin free. Martin says, before they come, the creatures are the tip of the spear. Like, who is actually pulling the strings here? And then we see a music box with a ballerina dancer. And who put this here? And why is it like a countdown to whoever comes here? We don't ever see who comes around, and it builds the tension, like Boyd is in trouble, he's got to go fast, he's got to go, here's the countdown, once the music stops, someone's going to show up. But we see that Boyd looks at the ballerina dancer, and then his eye is reflected in there. Don't know what the symbolism here is, but what do you make of it? Let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below, that's for sure. But Martin is interesting because we don't know how long he's been here, and he's from a small town, or, we just don't know who did this to him. But again, Boyd tries to race against the clock and to free Martin, which, is understandable. Boyd's a good guy, and he doesn't want to leave anyone behind, the Marine way. But we just don't get that much information out of Martin, by design, obviously. But he asks, you ever wonder if Abby was right? And that's Boyd's wife, Abby, from season 1. What if it's all just a dream? Why does he reference Abby? How does he know Abby? How does he know anything? And what are these things? We saw a similar thing with Sarah, and where is Sarah? Haven't seen her yet. But Boyd gets cut by the chain thing here, by the handcuff. And now, my blood is your blood. So Boyd has this weird blood thing, creature thing in his body now. So that's not good, but it may save Boyd's life, or get him answers and get him out of here. But Boyd leaves because Martin dies. He takes the torch, and as he collapses down because of being sick and I guess sick from the blood, right? A dog comes. And I can't remember if people had dogs or a dog was in season 1, but in the opening, we see a family with a dog. And is it weird that there's a dog? Where did this dog come from? The town or the woods? Parts unknown. Was it transported here by the powers that be here? I just don't know. And as Boyd goes into the woods, the dog runs away, and we don't see the dog again. But as he's in the woods, we see a bunch of, the creatures in the woods. And they don't even know Boyd is there, which I think is weird. But is it because of the blood that's in his body now? Like, will he be able to walk among them and they don't see him? But as Boyd looks at the creatures, his vision is blurry. So if his vision is blurry, I don't know, are the creatures not going to be able to see him because he can't see them really that well? But it's something that just doesn't get answered yet, which I'm okay with. If we don't have the answers yet, hopefully we get the answers. That's the big thing when they don't answer stuff or the answers are dumb. The build-up is great, but the payoff is weak, right? So we go back to the diner. And we know that everybody's going to freak out and they don't know what's going on, just the type of thing with new people. Right. And we see it's Mari, I believe, and Christy. They talk and we find out some timeline here. So we know that it's been 6 months that she was away, Christy. So is it expedited time here? And this whole time you've been less than 2 hours away. So kind of a location with the bus that was Grand Rapids, Michigan, the transport. This guy's name is Brick, kind of a terrible name. He ends up dying, which we kind of thought would make sense because we're going to bring new characters in and kill off a bunch of them. That's just, a lot of these people are going to serve no purpose. This guy is going to make a lot of noise and, we have to worry about the creatures and everything there too. And then Tom and Jim, are they going to get out? And only Jim survives, which is kind of sad because I kind of like Tom, but, that's the world we're living in here. The creatures, but there's enough stuff stacked against these people that not everyone should survive, that's for sure. But so I guess Tom is one of the bigger deaths so far in 2 episodes, but many more to come, I'm guessing, in the 8 episodes. I think it's an 8-episode season. So Jim ends up laying there, and none of the creatures come after him. But as Tom, I have to talk about this for sure, as it's kind of like a jump scare. As he's looking back, he looks around, and boom, one of the creatures jumps at Tom, and I guess rips him out of the house. And just rips them apart because later on we see Tom ripped apart. And what do the creatures do with these people? Just rip them apart, eat them, I guess. But as we hear screams and the chaos that's there, Julie freaks out, but she can't go outside. That's for sure because it's not safe. But you want to protect your loved ones, your dad, your family, your people you care about. So it sucks. And I like Donna. She don't mess around, right? She's got the shotgun, which is kind of crazy that she shot the bus, which you could have used the tire or whatever possibly. But these people weren't going to leave. We see the new bald guy is like going to plan something, and he ends up doing that, trying to take the gun from Kenny. And then I believe this is Brian and Kelly are their names, but they end up going into the bar, and they highlight them for a little bit. He highlights the talisman on the wall. So I think they're going to be safe, but I think they're highlighting the fact that they may be in danger. So they'll probably get killed because they're new characters, and what point do they really serve besides, red shirts that they need to go. But we do see some dialogue here, and we do get to know them a little bit more, which I'm not sure why we get to know them. What point do they serve in the show? But either way, they're drinking and talking about what to do, and then there's a knock at the door, and then you don't know if they're creatures or if they're people from the bus, because we don't keep track of all the people that were on the bus because some of them left, some people got scared and they ran. But as they're talking, like I said, there's a knock at the door, and it could be the creatures, it could be the people, and then Brian opens the door, which I believe his name is Brian, I could be wrong, but he opens the door, and we don't find out their fate probably next episode. And I got to talk about the red diner sign and the red motel lighting for the neon lights. Red, all I see is red, right? But we see these 2 people that they're not going to make it. They're outside with the creatures coming. And I know that I wanted to say Fatima, but I think it's Fatima and Ellis wanted to help them. And the cowboy person and the 2 creatures, the Western person, they were definitely creatures. And it was just kind of an annoying sequence here with Fatima when she was just like yelling and screaming, like, we get it. Like, you want to help them. But you should know, like, they're not going to be able to be saved. They're outside. They're not doing this, not listening to you, obviously. And she keeps screaming, we got to help them. It was just a little annoying, in my opinion. But I understand why they were doing it, to show that she cares and she wants to help. And, it was just a little over the top, and they could have done it a different way. But I like how the diner person, the two creatures, are like, hey, how you doing? Before I rip you apart. And again, what's the point of these creatures ripping people apart? Food? What is it? But again, Fatima freaks out, and it was just one of those things where, like, come on, over the top. But it was pretty funny when she was flipping off the two creatures, right? And I don't know, who are these things? Like, what are these creatures, and why do they look normal here, but when they attack you, they look pretty gross and terrible like they do when they're underground when we saw them in the cave? Like, how do they look different? Why do they look different? It just kind of doesn't make sense. They should look one way or another, but it just has not been explained. But it could be wrong. So this guy takes Kenny's gun. Kenny was just like not being tough with these people. And Donna and this other guy, Donna don't mess around. Like, you ain't going to open that door. You got to shoot him. And we're not going to let anything happen here. But there's a distraction. And then Donna hits the guy with the end of the shotgun. And Kenny is safe, which is good because I don't want Kenny to die. I like a lot of the characters, that's for sure. And I think this guy was just trying to do something. He was kind of scared. I don't think he's a bad guy. He tried to help with Jim, but we'll see what happens with this guy. And then we have to talk about Kenny, right? So Kenny doesn't know what to do here. He's trying to help. He's trying to make better with this, but all he's going to do is make tea, which I thought was funny. He's like, I know you're freaked out by all this, but I'm going to make some tea. That's good. And then Christy comes out, and he's like, my mom said about food helps things, and so I'm going to make tea. And he kind of laughs like, I know that's not going to help, but it's just kind of funny. He's doing the best he can. And then we got to talk about this guy, the smiley creature, right? And again, why does he look like this? And then he's a monster. But he comes from out of nowhere and gets on the bus. Why was the bus not closed? What were you doing, people? Why didn't you lock the door? But he goes in there, and he feels the leather, the headrest, and then the steering wheel. Like, oh, I got a new toy here. And it's like he wants to drive it. And he's kind of fascinated by it. Which is kind of weird because, like, if there was nobody in the bus, what was he going to do? Try to drive it? Try to do something? But, of course, there's two elderly people in the bus. And he's like, okay, I got this. And, so these two people are scared, which it kind of feels sad for these elderly people. And the smiley creature, I believe he's credited as, just says some weird little creepy line. And then again, he looks like a normal person from like the 50s. And the people just look at him. And then he transforms from a normal looking person to this. To his true form, right? But why does he transform like this? Why does he look like this all of a sudden? And I already highlighted the truck a little bit here, the delivery truck, but we got to get back to it for sure. So we see Tabitha and Victor. They get here for safety, and this is one of Victor's safe spots. And I kind of picked up that Victor was able to get cookies, like newer cookies. I hope they're newer, right? Because when he shows the cookie box to Tabitha, those things would be stale as anything if they're 40 years old, right? But how is he able to get things? Like going through the trees or going to different spots, But as they talk, you could see that Victor was alone and his mom was nice, and you kind of felt bad for Victor. And then Boyd shows up, and he's safe, and then Elgin shows up, and, the whole thing with that. And I wish Elgin would give a little bit more information so far, but it's a slow burn with that. We got 8 episodes, and this is 2 of the 8 episodes. And as they're in the truck, they're safe in the truck. They're there all day. Night turns to day. And then Elgin comes, and I guess Boyd could see him. I guess his vision cleared up, or is it blurry when he sees the creatures? Like, what is it? It's not explained. And then I said, we already talked about Elgin, and you see the map on the back wall and the arrow pointing it at him. Like, there's just no way it's not done for symbolism and just to show us something here. Like, it's definitely pointing out, literally pointing at Elgin. So as Victor draws a pretty good picture of the crazy doll or puppet or ventriloquist doll, dummy, or whatever you want to call it. It's pretty good. And he has a bunch of different pictures around of stuff he saw. So that's how he keeps track of it all. Boyd takes care of his arm the best that he can. And let's go back to the diner. It's all over the place. This is not like the same flow in the episode, but this lady is playing solitaire when the music plays on the little jukebox thing. Bakta, what a name, of the driver, is trying to sleep on the counter with the red trays, that's for sure. Why don't they have like cots or something in here too, in case you have to, protect yourself and sleep here. But we see these women are not happy. This guy is not happy either with his lighter. And then Julie is sleeping at the table on like the seat by the booth. And again, night turns to day. So the daylight comes out and the creatures go away. So then Julie awkwardly runs from the diner. Am I the only one who like sees that? It's just kind of funny. Like, it's just like she's trying to run. It kind of looks like she's making fun of running. Like if they were trying to run too hard or just run awkwardly. Like, I just think she's like not worried about it and running to the safety of her dad to see if Jim is still alive. And she runs over there. And this is the point where we're like, we don't know if he's going to be alive or not because we saw that creature, jump at Tom. We see Christy run to the grass and we see Tom laying there. Again, he's ripped apart. Like not his face, but his chest cavity and his organs and stuff are ripped apart. Julie, runs to the house and says, Dad, are you there? And then this is the point where we're like, is he safe? Is he alive? We don't know because he doesn't move for a couple seconds, but he's alive. So Jim survives. So all the Matthews family is still alive, which is good because we like them. And then they start to take apart the house that just collapsed. But when it was collapsing, Elgin was having a seizure. So did Elgin feel it? Did he cause it? I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. Then again on the bus, Bakta goes to the bus and she finds the two elderly couple ripped apart by the smiley creature. And there's a book there. I can't make it out what it actually is. And again, the guy's ripped apart and then so is the woman. And again, the cavities are just ripped open. So the lungs and the heart and the organs are all gone. Then we see the delivery truck and we see Victor, Boyd, Tabitha, and Elgin. Tabitha finds out from Elgin about the house that collapsed, and then she freaks out and runs back to the town, which should be fine and safe because it's daylight, so the creatures don't come out during the day, only at night. And as Boyd is putting on his jacket, we see that the crazy things in his arm that he got from Martin are clearly visible here, and Victor sees that. So it reminds me a lot of what Sarah had, who's still MIA. Like, is she going to show up here? Like, she was there at the end of season 1, and, she should still be alive, right? But what are these creature things? Are they parasites? Are they something that can control Boyd or make him do stuff, kind of like Sarah was told to do stuff? I don't know, but that's a new little twist. They love to throw these little twists and turns and wrenches in the story. It's that type of series. And as he's looking at his arm, Victor sees that Boyd has that stuff in his body now. So does Victor know about that? Is he going to say anything about that? Will he be able to help him? We don't know because this is how the episode ends. Victor closes the delivery truck and Boyd, Elgin, and Victor walk back to the town, and we see that it's, what does that say? Clary's Canned Foods. And as the three walk back to the town, I have to point out that Elgin, the actor, kind of slips. He's like, boop. You can see he kind of goes down. He missteps in the grass there. And that's how the episode ends. So let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. What did you make of it? What did you think of it? I thought it was another great episode of a good series. Hopefully more and more people are watching. We're going to be doing more of these videos. Thank you guys either way. Stay safe. And as always, tell them Daryl.
Yo, we love you guys.